Last Tuesday, Democratic staffers were shocked when they received an emergency notification to clear their schedules. Behind closed doors, a shouting match erupted between progressive and moderate Democrats that sources say nearly turned physical. The cause? Chuck Schumer's decision that has now fractured the party into opposing camps. The tension was palpable, with eyewitnesses reporting raised voices echoing down the hallway. What followed was described by one senior Democratic official as a complete implosion of party discipline. The leadership crisis intensified as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez confronted party leadership, while Nancy Pelosi's diminishing influence proved insufficient to contain the damage in this factional standoff. What started as a routine political stand quickly devolved into the most stunning Democratic policy reversal in recent memory. Just 72 hours before his shocking announcement, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer stood firmly before his colleagues, painting a dire picture of what would happen if Democrats yielded to Republican demands on the continuing resolution. With characteristic vigor, Schumer rallied his caucus against what he called extreme right-wing provisions that would harm American families. Democratic senators lined up behind their leader, preparing for what appeared to be an inevitable showdown over government funding. Senior Democratic advisors circulated talking points, emphasizing party unity and the importance of holding the line against Republican hostage-taking tactics. The strategy seemed clear and the messaging consistent. Democrats would stand firm together. Then came the bombshell. In a floor speech that left many Democratic senators visibly stunned, Schumer announced he would support the very continuing resolution he had spent weeks condemning. Like an earthquake destabilizing the party's foundation, this reversal sent tremors through Democratic ranks. While the CR bill is very bad, Schumer declared, the potential for a shutdown has consequences for America that are much worse. As cameras captured the reactions of bewildered Democratic senators, Schumer continued, I believe it is my job to make the best choice for the country to minimize the harms to the American people. Therefore, I will vote to keep the government open. This dramatic pivot unleashed immediate aftershocks throughout the Democratic establishment. Most politically damaging was President Trump's rare public commendation that arrived with perfect timing to maximize Democratic discomfort. Congratulations to Chuck Schumer for doing the right thing. Took guts and courage. The presidential praise instantly transformed what might have been framed as a difficult compromise into something that looked suspiciously like surrender. For Democratic senators who had publicly aligned themselves with Schumer's original hardline position, the reversal created immediate vulnerability. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who had been particularly vocal in caucus meetings about standing firm, reportedly erupted during a tense Democratic lunch meeting, her frustration audible even through closed doors. Internal polling revealed the damage extending well beyond Washington. Focus groups in swing states showed Democratic voters expressing confusion and anger, with one pollster confiding, "They don't understand what we stand for anymore." When your party leadership completely reverses course without explanation, it damages trust with your base. This erosion of trust threatened upcoming electoral strategies as progressive activists who had been mobilizing supporters now felt betrayed by their own leadership. Behind closed doors, sources revealed Schumer's decision stemmed from an OMB assessment suggesting that during a shutdown, the Trump administration would gain authority to determine which government functions qualified as essential, effectively allowing them to weaponize the situation by keeping politically advantageous programs running, while shuttering those valued by Democrats. Faced with this scenario, Schumer made what one aide described as a painful but necessary strategic retreat. Yet he failed to anticipate the magnitude of the internal crisis his decision would trigger. Within hours, progressive Democrats began organizing a coordinated response that threatened his leadership position in unprecedented ways. Those midnight text chains weren't just angry messages. They were the building blocks of an unprecedented rebellion. When Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stepped to the microphones the next morning, she challenged Schumer's decision and questioned whether Democratic leadership still understood what values the party stood for. Cameras captured the tension as AOC delivered what became the rallying cry for progressives and many moderate Democrats. I think there is a deep sense of outrage and betrayal, she stated firmly, her voice echoing through the press room. To see Senate Democrats even consider acquiescing to Elon Musk is a huge slap in the face. The reference to Musk, whose influence over the funding bill had sparked progressive anger, transformed typical inter-party disagreement into something fundamental. This moment proved extraordinary because AOC's rebuke resonated across traditional Democratic fault lines. Within hours, lawmakers who had positioned themselves as centrists privately expressed support for her stance. One senior Democratic staffer revealed that moderate members who had viewed AOC with skepticism were now saying they were ready to write checks for AOC for Senate, should she challenge Schumer in the future. Like a storm gathering strength, the revolt intensified when House Democratic leadership broke with Senate leadership. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries issued a joint statement opposing Schumer's position, a move veterans of Capitol Hill politics described as virtually unprecedented. The statement criticized the funding bill as one that would unleash havoc on everyday Americans and warned it would cede more power to Trump and Musk. During the Democratic retreat in Leesburg, Virginia, an event meant to build party unity, the atmosphere turned toxic. "What I witnessed was an existential crisis," said one Democratic representative. "People who've been loyal soldiers for decades were asking fundamental questions about who we are as a party." The conflict revealed Nancy Pelosi's diminished ability to serve as mediator. The former speaker, who had previously bridged progressive-moderate divides, found herself sidelined. Her push for a 4-week extension gained little traction, signaling the party's old guard was losing its grip on internal disputes. Most concerning for Democratic leadership was how the revolt transcended ideological divides. "This isn't the usual progressive versus moderate fight," explained one Democratic campaign strategist. "When you see members who represent R+2 districts making common cause with the squad, something fundamental has shifted." Party insiders began discussing what this realignment might mean for future leadership elections. Reports surfaced that centrist Democrats were now considering supporting AOC in a future challenge to Schumer, possibly as early as 2028. While speculative, these conversations signal a dramatic shift in party power dynamics. The internal crisis has immediate implications for upcoming legislative battles. Democratic committee chairs have begun pursuing their own agenda items without leadership sign-off. "How can we present a unified front on the debt ceiling when we can't even agree on who should be making decisions?" lamented one veteran Democratic lawmaker. Multiple attempts by Schumer's office to arrange reconciliation meetings were rebuffed by both progressive and moderate members, a coordinated resistance that crossed ideological lines. The fallout from Schumer's decision extends far beyond Capitol Hill. What we're witnessing is a fundamental identity crisis within the Democratic Party at precisely the moment when cohesive leadership is most critical. Republicans aren't merely observing. They're actively strategizing to exploit these divisions as legislative battles over infrastructure, climate initiatives, and healthcare loom ahead. These internal fractures directly threaten the party's ability to advance their agenda. Political analysts comparing the situation to 2004 note today's divisions cut even deeper. As one Democratic strategist aptly observed, "When your party can't even agree on whether to keep the government open, voters will question whether you can govern at all." Can a party so fragmented rally in time to rebuild voter trust? The answer may define their political future.